Have you ever caught your reflection in a shop window on your way out the door? Bob freshly styled, blow-dried, done, and something just felt off? Not bad, just flat. Not what you pictured 20 minutes earlier in your bathroom mirror. Here's the truth. It's usually not you. It's not even your haircut. It's 5 small habits nobody ever explained were quietly working against it, every single day. A bob is one of the most flattering, most ageless cuts a woman over 60 can wear. But styled the wrong way, that exact same cut can add years to how your whole face reads by 10 in the morning. And there's one secret on this list, number 3, that almost every woman with a bob is still getting wrong without realizing it. It's the single most misunderstood decision in the entire routine, and most women have never heard it explained clearly. We'll get there. Welcome back to Timeless Tresses, where we help women look effortlessly current at every age, no fortune required. If that's your thing, the subscribe button is right there. Now, let's get straight into it. A bob on a woman over 60 should be doing 3 things, every single day. Adding volume where your face needs a lifted counterbalance above it. Creating movement, so it reads as alive rather than simply placed. And framing your face with softness and direction, instead of surrounding it with one flat, uniform shape that has no real relationship to your features. Most standard bob routines do none of these 3 things, and it's not because anyone is doing something dramatically wrong. It's habitually wrong, something repeated so many mornings in a row that it stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like simply what you do with a bob. Here's what almost nobody tells you directly. The exact styling approach that gave you a beautiful bob at 40 does not produce that same result at 60. Mature hair has a different texture, a different density, and a completely different relationship with heat, product, and movement than it did 2 decades ago. Ignore that shift, and it almost always gets ignored. And the result is a bob that's flat by mid-morning, with no dimension anywhere in the shape, lying against the head in a way that makes the whole face read heavier and older than it actually is. 5 secrets fix all 3. Let's begin. Secret 1. And this is where almost every flat bob begins. Stop blow-drying it flat. Start blow-drying it for root lift. I understand exactly why you do this. For years, smooth was the word every stylist used for done right. Point the dryer down, brush everything flat, call it finished. It felt like the responsible way to style hair. Here's the mechanism though. Most women blow-dry their bob by directing heat downward over the top of the hair, smoothing from root to end in one motion. That technique presses the cuticle flat and removes any natural tendency toward volume before you've even left the house. It sets the hair in its most collapsed position at 8 in the morning, which means by 10, the little bit of shape you had isn't fading. It's simply gone, because there was never any volume built into the root to begin with. The fix is root first, upward heat, and it's the single fastest improvement available to any woman with a bob over 60. Take a round brush and lift each root section straight up, at roughly a 90-degree angle from your scalp, directing the airflow from underneath the strand rather than from on top of it. Do this at the crown first, then the sides, then the nape of your neck. You can try this tomorrow morning with the exact dryer and brush already sitting in your bathroom. No new tools required, just a new angle and a new direction of heat. And the difference isn't subtle or slow to arrive. It's visible in the mirror within the first 3 minutes of drying. But that's not even the habit doing the most damage to your shape by lunchtime. Secret 2. Stop brushing your whole bob into one smooth shape. Start adding piecewise texture at the ends. This one is sneaky, because it feels like the tidy, finished way to end a styling routine. Every strand pulled the same direction, every end lying flat against the next one continuous unbroken surface running from your part all the way down to the hem of the cut. But here's why that backfires. The eye reads a single uniform surface as flat, because it genuinely is flat. There's no separation between individual sections of hair, no variation in direction, nothing for light to catch at different angles as you move. A smooth, brushed-out bob photographs as done, but it reads in person as static, like the hair is simply lying there rather than actually moving with you. The fix is piecewise texture. Take a very small amount of lightweight styling cream or texture spray on your fingertips, never your whole hand, and separate the ends of the bob into small individual sections. Give each section its own subtle direction. Some slightly forward, some slightly outward, some tucked slightly under. Nothing messy, just not uniform. The do-it-today version of this couldn't be simpler. 2 fingers, not 5, touching only the last 2 inches of hair. That's the entire technique. The result is a bob with genuine visual depth, catching light at several angles at once, reading as alive rather than smoothed into submission. And that brings us to the one I promised you at the very start of this video. Secret 3. Here it is. The one almost every woman with a bob is still doing without realizing it. And the one most women have genuinely never heard explain this clearly. Stop parting your hair in the exact same place every single morning. I understand the habit completely. It's not really a decision anymore. It's just where your hair goes. It's been going there for years, maybe decades. And it feels less like a choice than like a fact about your own head. But here's the mechanism behind why that's quietly working against you. Hair parted in the identical position, day after day, year after year, trains itself to lie flat on both sides of that line. Sleep, gravity, and sheer repetition press the hair down in the same direction long enough that the part itself stops looking like a styling choice and starts looking like a permanent groove. Wider, flatter, and more visible with every year that passes, as the hair on either side lies increasingly flatter away from it. The fix is simply to move it, not dramatically. Even shifting the part by 1 to 2 inches from its habitual spot disrupts that trained flat pattern and creates immediate root lift on the side the part has moved toward. Try a deeper side part on the opposite side for a week. Try a center part instead of a side part. Try a soft zigzag through the crown rather than one straight, predictable line. Each new direction gives the roots a genuinely new angle to grow from, and that new angle creates the lift the same part position has been quietly suppressing for years. Do this today with nothing more than a fine-tooth comb. That's the entire cost of the fix. 3 down. And the next one undoes every single correct decision you just made, if you skip it. Well, Secret 4. Mini story. Let me tell you about a woman I worked with a few years ago. I'll call her Diane. Diane did everything right. She'd mastered the root lift, she was adding piecewise texture like a pro, she'd even moved her part for the first time in 15 years, and her bob still went flat by lunch, every single day, without fail. The problem was never her technique. It was what she was putting on her hair before any of that technique even had a chance to hold. Secret 4. Stop reaching for heavy product. Start using products actually formulated for fine, mature hair. The mechanism is simple once you know it. Hair after 60 is narrower in diameter than it was at 40. It has less structural weight-bearing capacity to work with. So a heavy mousse, a thick serum, or a rich styling cream applied directly to the root doesn't add volume to that finer strand. It adds pull. The hair collapses under the sheer weight of the product itself, and the flat bob the new routine was supposed to fix goes flat again by mid-morning. For exactly the same reason as before, just wearing a different disguise. Switch to lightweight, volumizing formulas specifically made for fine or thinning hair. A light mist of root-lifting spray directed at the scalp before you dry. A pea-sized amount of texture cream applied only to the ends at the very finish, never anywhere near the roots. These products add hold and definition without adding the weight that undoes everything. Check what's already sitting in your bathroom right now. If the label says volumizing, but it feels heavy and rich in your palm, that's very likely your answer. One secret left, and it's the only one on this list that works while you're not even trying. The Secret 5, quick one. Secret 5. Stop sleeping on cotton. Start sleeping on silk or satin. Cotton pillowcases create real friction against your hair all night long. That friction roughs up the cuticle, creates frizz, flattens your carefully built root section, and breaks apart your shape before morning even arrives. Which is why a bob can look genuinely beautiful on day 1, and progressively more disheveled by day 2 and 3, no matter how well it was styled to begin with. The fix. A silk or satin pillowcase. Hair slides across the surface instead of catching and dragging on it. Your root lift survives the night intact. Your piecewise texture stays separated instead of matting back together while you sleep. Do it tonight. 1 pillowcase swap, and tomorrow's bob picks up exactly where tonight's left off, instead of starting completely over from zero. Hair's the real secret sitting underneath all 5 of these. It was never about any single technique in isolation. It's about working with your hair as it actually is right now, not as it was 20 years ago. Fine, mature hair needs lift engineered in, not smoothed out. Lightweight everything, applied with intention rather than habit, and real protection while you sleep, not just while you're actively at the mirror styling. Once that one shift clicks into place, every product you pick and every technique you choose gets genuinely easier to get right. For your hair, exactly as it is today. Every one of these 5 has an easy fix, and the difference in how your bob looks and feels is real, starting tomorrow morning, not next month, not after some big investment. You've earned the right to look in that mirror and feel exactly as put together as you actually are. If this changed how you're going to style your bob tomorrow, hit like right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more women over 60 who deserve to know exactly this. And tell me in the comments, which of these 5 were you already doing, and which one are you trying first thing in the morning? I read every single one. Subscribe to Age with Styles if you haven't already, and share this with a friend who has a bob and has been styling it the same way for years.